America just dodged a massive political bullet that almost no one is talking about. A rogue plan was quietly set in motion, a plan to plant an unelected spy inside Donald Trump's White House, not an advisor, not an agency, an embedded enforcer, loyal to the very people who spent years trying to remove him from office. And at the very center of it all, Adam Schiff. We've likely all heard of him, right? Adam Schiff, the same man who weaponized lies to poison Trump's first term, the same man caught twisting intelligence, hiding facts, and now caught red-handed trying to seize control of the presidency itself. Now, if you guys watch late night television, you'll remember Adam Schiff from, what was he on? Was it Stephen Colbert? He was referred to as Watermelon Head. Anyway, this wasn't just Trump. This was about ending the power of the people's vote, crippling the presidency, any presidency, with a backdoor deep state chokehold. That's right, guys. So what Adam Schiff didn't count on, though, was Trump. That Trump, being strategic, patriotic, and 10 steps ahead, would see the playbook before it even hit the field. And what happened next? Checkmate. Trump didn't just stop the bill. He exterminated the entire plan. But here's the part that nobody's really going to talk about on mainstream media. Here's the part that's really going to make your jaw drop. Adam Schiff's bill was just the cover story. The real war, it was over your money, your freedom, your future. So while the media focused on fake headlines, Trump quietly launched a historic attack on the global plan to digitize and dominate your bank account and banned the Federal Reserve from creating a central bank digital currency, also known as a CBDC. Now, of course, today in this video, I want to go ahead and expose Adam Schiff's true motive behind what he was trying to pull off. I want to show you how Trump's 6-month masterstroke just rewrote the rules of presidential power and reveal why the next 90 days could decide whether we stay a free republic or we fall into a financial surveillance state unlike anything that we've ever seen before. So do not blink, because what's coming next is bigger than Adam Schiff. It's bigger than Joe Biden, and it's bigger than Washington, D.C., and it all starts right now. Oh, if you appreciate the daily news updates, please hit the like button and subscribe. All right, so I want to talk about the coup blueprint itself, because this wasn't just some goofy idea floating around on C-SPAN. No, Adam Schiff, the same guy who pushed the fake Russia hoax for years, he dropped a bill that was so freaking outrageous, so unconstitutional, that even former Justice Department officials called it a fantasy of tyrants. What was it? Schiff wanted to insert a federal inspector general inside, like directly inside Trump's White House. But get this, it would be insulated from the president. In other words, Trump would not be allowed to fire them. He wouldn't be able to control them or even redirect them. That's not oversight. That is a spy embedded in the West Wing with full access to every conversation, every document, every decision ever made by any commander in chief. So this wasn't about ethics. This was about sabotage. And if you're wondering, wait, can Congress even do that? Well, former Deputy Assistant Attorney General Tom Dupree, he said it flat out. The bill is dead politically, and it would be struck down in court in a heartbeat. And it should be, right? Because this was nothing short of a shadow coup dressed up as accountability branding. You see? So let me ask you something, guys. Do you believe Congress, or do you believe Adam Schiff should have the power to plant spies inside the presidency? Because if the answer is no, then you're going to want to hear what President Trump did next. Now, Trump didn't scream. He didn't overreact. He didn't even dignify Schiff's bill with a traditional press war. Instead, Trump went surgical. He went behind the scenes. Trump's legal team and constitutional allies immediately exposed the bill for what it really was. It was a power grab and rallied expert opinion across both media and legal circles. They didn't just expose it, they buried it before it even left committee. And this is where Trump's leadership really shines. So while legacy media tries to paint this, really they're trying to paint him as an impulsive individual, the reality is this: Trump is 3 moves ahead every time, minimum. He knew that if this bill passed, it would only open the door to permanent deep state occupation of the presidency. And for any future president, red or blue, this would be horrible. So he didn't just save his own office. He protected the integrity of the presidency itself for generations. And it worked. No hearings, no votes. Even some Democrats couldn't hold it back. The bill is dead. Schiff's plan is exterminated. But here's the thing. That wasn't the only front in this war. Schiff's Inspector General, the plot was just a decoy for something far more dangerous. Now, I don't recommend a whole lot of companies. I really don't. But Chapter earned it. I've partnered with them because they've been changing lives for people in our community. Jamie from Texas saved $600, and Paulette Diener, her son's Medicare. The situation was just a nightmare for over a year, right up until Chapter stepped in and found an amazing solution and gave them peace of mind. Now, I don't know how many years you've been on Medicare, but things change. And the plan that worked for you last year might be costing you this year. So this is where Chapter comes in. Their licensed experts are trained to find what others miss. Now, if you've ever felt ignored or overwhelmed or pressured in the past, this is your second chance to get it right, guys. Give your friends a Chapter call right now. I'll leave the phone number down below. It's 909-563-8279, or visit askchapter.org/Ron and finally get the Medicare help that you deserve. Now, I want to zoom out just for a second because Adam Schiff's the Inspector General scheme, that wasn't the end game. It was just one battle in a much bigger war, a war over control. Not just about Trump, but for you. At the center of this war was the central bank digital currency, the CBDC. Now, before you glaze over your eyes glaze over, thinking that this is just another financial acronym, I want you to listen carefully because CBDC isn't about innovation. It's about domination. Okay. Now, I'm not trying to rhyme here, but this is the case. Imagine a world where the government can see every dollar you spend in real time, where your paycheck, your savings, even your donations are tracked, scored, and they're controlled. And what happens if you step out of line? They don't just arrest you. They can just flip the switch. Click. You can't buy anything. They've taken your money from you. They have locked it. Your account's frozen. Guys, how would you feel if your money got locked? You're digitally erased. This is the world the globalists want, okay? And guess who's been cheerleading it from the start? Adam Schiff, Elizabeth Warren, the same exact crowd that tried to derail Trump for years. But this time, Trump saw it coming. On day one of his second term, January 23rd, 2025, President Trump signed an executive order banning CBDC development across the entire federal government. And let me quote it for you. Agencies are hereby prohibited from undertaking any action to establish, issue, or promote central bank digital currencies, whether within the jurisdiction of the United States or abroad. That's not a talking point. That's a presidential power used to protect your freedom. And now, Republicans in Congress have introduced the Anti-CBDC Act, pushing to make the ban permanent law. Now, here is the terrifying part. Even with Trump in office, the globalist machine is still grinding behind the scenes. The Federal Reserve, international finance leaders, and even the woke banks, they're still quietly building the infrastructure. So, question is this: do you want a government? Do you want a government button that can just shut your wallet off with one click? Because if not, then this next part, it's really going to make your blood boil. Oh, and by the way, if you hate being the last to know, the free breaking news newsletter keeps you a step ahead. Check the description down below, or even in the pinned comment. I left you a link so you can join my breaking news newsletter for free right now. So let's be real, guys. This is not Adam Schiff's first rodeo. Remember when he spent years pushing the lie that Trump was a Russian agent? Did anybody buy that? Now, he went on cable news night after night claiming he had direct evidence, only to later admit under oath that he had nothing. He had a big old donut. Zero. That lie crippled Trump's first term. It created a fake cloud of suspicion that it ultimately derailed real progress. And then look at Adam Schiff. What did he get out of it? Well, he got famous for it, number one. He got rich from it, and now he's trying to do it again. But this time the walls are closing in. According to multiple reports, Adam Schiff is under DOJ scrutiny for possible mortgage fraud. This issue, he allegedly claimed one principal residence on tax forms and a different principal residence on mortgage documents. Now, if this is true, that is felony level dishonesty. Now, you and I both know If a regular American citizen pulled this off, oh, we would already be in handcuffs by now, right? So let's go ahead and let's ask the obvious question. Should public officials be held to the same standards as the rest of us? Because if they're not, we're not a republic anymore. We're a two-tiered system. And this is exactly the system that Trump is trying to tear down piece by piece. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, Letitia James, she's up on some similar charges, is she not? So what's going on with the Democrats here? 6 months since Donald J. Trump returned to the White House as the 47th president of the United States. Now, I want you to take a breath for a second. Really look back at what's happened in just 180 days. Because while the media flails and the deep state gasps for control, Trump has been quietly restoring America's backbone, one bold decision at a time. So let's go ahead and run the scoreboard. First, he launched mass deportations of violent criminals, immediately reversing Biden's open border disaster. Cartel violence is down, sanctuary cities are folding, and ICE has been empowered again. Second, he pushed this strategic economic reset, slamming the brakes on inflation and fighting for interest rate relief. He's demanding rate cuts from the Fed to save nearly $1 trillion in interest payments and give your wallet some breathing room. Third, Trump initiated a full restoration of law and order inside the Department of Justice. No more political prosecutions, no more blind eye bureaucrats. He's bringing back the rule of law, not the rule of the mob. And fourth, he's made America a leader in decentralized finance, passing crypto clarity legislation that pushed CBDCs out and brought private innovation back in. 6 months. And already he's done more to defend our freedom than the last administration did in 4 years. So this is what smart, strategic, compassionate leadership looks like. A president who doesn't just react, he outmaneuvers, he outthinks, and he outlasts. But here's where it gets even more serious. Because Schiff's failed bill, it wasn't just about Trump. It was a trial run. It was a prototype for how to control any president who dares to go against the establishment. Now, if it had passed, unelected bureaucrats could have been easily permanently embedded in the White House, able to monitor, interfere, and sabotage from the inside. Can you imagine that? A future where the presidency becomes nothing more than a puppet office surrounded by spies, unable to lead without permission from DC power brokers? That was the plan. And Trump, he killed it before it even ever left the lab. Because he understands something that the political class hates. You can't drain the swamp by inviting the swamp into your office. So, while Schiff was plotting, Trump was fortifying the office of the presidency itself. So, this wasn't just a win for him. It was a win for every future president and for every American who believes that their vote should mean something. Now, the question is, well, what's next? Well, of course, the final blow that ultimately buried Schiff's bill and sent shockwaves through both parties, and the one warning you need to hear before this fight comes back under a new disguise. So how did this end, right? Was it televised on TV? Was it, some massive showdown? Was it a dramatic vote? No. The final kill shot, it wasn't loud. It was strategic silence from a House of Representatives that wanted nothing to do with Schiff's madness. Trump realigned Republicans, made sure that the bill was buried in committee before it could even see the light of day. There was no debate. There was no vote, no political oxygen. Just choked it off. Even some Democrats, yes, Democrats, they refused to back Schiff's authoritarian power grab. Why? Because it reeked of desperation. Because it exposed what Schiff was really after, control, not oversight. And because once Trump's legal and constitutional team lit that bill on fire in the public square, nobody wanted their name anywhere near that thing. So how did it end? Not with a bang, not with a whimper. And what it did was it ended in a public humiliation for Adam Schiff. I mean, you could see him just kind of like eyes watering up in the public square. This man built his brand on lies, on fabricated intelligence, and on manipulating the public through fear. And in the end, he got exterminated by a constitution that he tried to rewrite himself. But here's the part I really need you to hear. Just because Schiff lost doesn't mean the agenda's gone. because this push to install watchdogs in the White House, this push to implement CBDCs, monitor your bank account, and control your spending, oh, it's still alive. It's just changing names and it's shifting tactics. So keep your eyes peeled, guys. The globalist class is patient. They'll go ahead and repackage it, rebrand it. They'll call it digital innovation, or maybe safe democracy, or maybe even economic modernization, something clever like that. But make no mistake, the goal is always the same: control. That's why Trump's leadership matters more now than ever. Because without that firewall, without the executive order banning CBDC, without the constitutional spine to say no, we would already be halfway into a digital prison right now with no exit. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave you with this, guys. Are you prepared for the next attempt? Because there will be another one. They will try again, and they will do it quieter, smarter, and from different angles. This is why we need to stay informed. This is why we speak out. And this is why we back leaders like President Donald J. Trump, who don't just defend the Constitution, they weaponize it against tyranny. So if you're fired up right now, you should be. This wasn't just a policy win. This was a defeat of a silent coup, the kind that doesn't use tanks, but task forces and regulations and surveillance tech. Schiff tried to seize control of the presidency. Trump stopped him cold. Now, do your part. Smash that like button, drop a comment. Do you think Schiff should face consequences? Should CBDCs be banned forever? And more importantly, watch this next video YouTube is showing you right now. This is the one they don't want you to see, guys. Click it and understand why the fight is just getting started. I'll see you on the other side.